can just start. Everyone here. Yeah, let's just start. So we can, I think we should just, I'm gonna do a little bit of talking today. But I think I wanna just start by kind of going through our warm-up, go through the mini flow that we did last time, so I kind of get that through and get a little bit moving in the body, and then we'll take a pause and talk a little bit. So let's just come into our comfortable seated position. So remember, we can use our blocks. And we're going to be coming into our rocking after a little mindfulness practice. So maybe just grabbing the block and coming into cross-legged. And maybe closing our eyes if we feel comfortable with closed eyes. We can roll our shoulders a bit and see if we need to move before we come into stillness. And then maybe taking a couple of deep breaths in through the nose, just filling the lungs and exhaling through the mouth. In through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And let's see if we can relax the shoulders even a little bit more, relaxing them down away from the ears, feeling our face relaxed. So we have this nice seated posture. We'll see if we can relax all the muscles that we're not using. Let's from here just bring one palm onto our baby, onto our belly, the other one on top of the chest or the heart. We can take a few deep breaths here, concentrating the breaths down to the belly area, to the baby, to the rib cage. And we can remind ourselves that we're going to go through this practice not alone, but with our baby. Moving through each pose with awareness. And see if you wanna, maybe you wanna set yourself some intention for the class. It could be, for example, to focus on what feels good in the poses. Trying to notice your strength in the poses and the comfort and the opening and the feel good things in the poses. And then we're just gonna bring our palms down to the knees. I'm gonna come into our rocking. So on the next inhale, we're gonna move forward, keeping the chest open, spine straight. And the exhale, coming back and rounding. Inhale as we go forward. Exhale, can round and lean a little bit back. Just move with your own breath here. Remember, we're moving from the hips. Inhale, coming forward. And then using the whole exhale to come back. And we can even grab our knees and just kind of stretch back when we come back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And here we're not really doing any pauses between the breaths. So it's just flowing nicely. Inhale, and when we finish the inhale, starting to move back using the whole exhale. And just tapping in to our own rhythm here. Maybe see if we start slowing down the breath a little bit, slowing down the movement. Without controlling too much or forcing anything, just keeping it flowing. And this should feel good as rocking. Just feel comfortable, nice and calming. And we can continue here a few more rounds or start moving in circles if that feels good. So if we feel the need to change the movement, maybe start moving around the hips. And if we're doing circles, maybe changing directions. And here we can also kind of start tapping a little bit into our body, into our spine. Just kind of noticing how we're feeling today. And then slowly making the circle smaller, we're going to come to stillness up in the middle. Okay, let's come into a little warm up with the neck. So on our next exhale, we're going to bring the chin down to the chest. On the inhale, we're going to lift up and look up. Maybe the head drops back if it feels good. And exhaling, coming forward. Inhaling, coming up. Just moving with your own breath. Take a couple of more. And we find our middle again. Let's bring the left ear down to the left shoulder. And finding a nice stretch here on the right side of the neck. And then bringing the chin down to the chest, rolling to the other side. And see if you want to come back and forth here, or even going into full circles if it feels good. And next time the chin is down, changing directions if you're going in circles. And it could be good to be a little bit curious here to see if you notice anything different as you change directions. And just really feeling into the muscles you're moving and noticing how you're doing in this uppermost part of the spine. Okay, maybe changing directions one more time. And coming back to the middle. Beautiful. We're going to come into our side stretches, our upper body warm up here. So if we're sitting on a block, maybe have another block here next to us on our left side. And we're going to bring the palms together in front of the chest. And let's start by just closing the eyes here and feel into our breath. So we're going to take deep breaths here. Again, kind of filling up the space, filling up our lungs. Maybe even exhaling through the mouth. And then we're going to start with our movement. So taking an inhale. On the exhale, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms forward and rounding. And then inhale, lifting up Exhale, open up. Inhale, palms coming together. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, feel this opening of the chest. Okay, let's do one more here. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, releasing. For the next round, we're going to end with our palms up. Inhale here. This time we're going to release for a side stretch. So left palm coming down onto the block or onto the floor. Inhale the right arm up, lengthen and stretch over. And in this pose, I will come actually into it a little bit later, but we want to think about opening and lifting up here rather than compressing and lengthening to the side too much. We're thinking about opening and lifting up, creating space, so to say. And slowly coming back, and palms coming together. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lift up. And we're going to move to the other side. Maybe moving the block to the other side. Left arm coming up, lengthen up, and maybe coming over. Okay, beautiful. And coming back to the middle. I'm gonna do 2 more here for some twists. So taking an inhale. On the exhale, rounding, pressing forward. Inhale, lift up, lengthening the sides. Then releasing the palms, left palm coming on the left knee, right palm behind us. On the inhale, we'll lift up the chest. On the exhale, looking towards our right side. Nice stretch here, lengthening and a little twisting in the upper body. And let's come back for the other side, taking an inhale. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lengthen up. Releasing, right palm coming down on the right knee, left palm behind us. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, looking towards our left side. So in our twists, we can kind of think about this lifting up on our inhales, and on the exhales, see if we want to take the twist deeper. And releasing. Let's take one more, because we're going to come also into our chest opener. So taking one inhale here. Exhale, rounding again. Inhale, lift up. And this time coming into our chest opener. So maybe the palms come onto a bolster behind us, or straight on the floor. And lift up the chest. Exactly. And here it can be good to drop the head back, but only if it feels good. So feeling a nice opening here in the front of the body, front of the chest. And releasing. Beautiful. Okay. So we should feel a little bit looser now in the upper body. Okay, we're gonna remind ourselves of our Ujjayi breathing before we continue, and we're gonna use, as you remember, we'll use the Ujjayi breaths throughout the practice. So maybe just placing the palms here next to the rib cage. And we're gonna take a couple of deep breaths here. So in the inhale, we kind of feel like we're pressing against our palms. On the exhale, we're thinking about this hugging feeling, hugging everything in. Inhale, trying to press against the palms, expanding the rib cage. Exhale, hugging everything in. Let's take a few more just on your own, trying to find this feeling, and you might have this little tiny ocean wave sound, little contraction in the neck. kind of sounding like the ocean waves. And if you don't remember how to get this contraction, remember it's kind of like we're fogging a mirror, making a fog on the mirror. We're keeping the mouth closed. Okay. Beautiful. And let's on our next exhale, as we hug the baby in, we're going to move into our foreleg position. So coming onto our knees and palms. I'm going to make sure we have our blocks with us, or blocker or blocks, depending how much support we need today. And let's come straight into our soft form A and then soft form B after. And we're going to remember to have the block more or less by the index finger. Index finger is pointing forward. And we can spread the fingers for more support. Palms are under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Okay, beautiful. Just bring both palms on top of the block. Thumbs are touching. We start by bringing the right knee so it's in line with the right palm here. And on our next exhale, using our Ujjayi breath, we're going to hug everything in, hug the baby in, and step our left leg forward. And we remember, if this was hard, we can always adjust the block or bring another block on top to lift up higher. Okay. And now let's come up. So we can use the support of our thigh here. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, coming a little bit forward. So here we're starting to feel a little bit into the legs and the muscles around the hips. Okay, inhale, come back. Exhale, moving down to the block. Bring the left leg back. And we're going to find our child's pose. So palms coming down to the mat, knees come apart. Knees apart so we have good space for the belly, and then bring the forehead down to the mat. And if we're not able to bring the forehead down to the mat, we can also use a block. But it can be really good to get the forehead down. So we're kind of massaging this, what we sometimes call the third eye. Okay, taking a few deep breaths here into our backs. And when we're ready, we're going to come moving up to our down dog, if down dog is available today. So taking the toes center, we can lift up into our down dog. Beautiful. And as it's our first dog, we can also bend the knees a little bit, one at a time. But just moving, keeping the hips kind of squared, facing forward. So do this. Okay, on the next exhale, both knees coming down to the mat. We're back in our forelegs. We're going to come to the other side. So let's bring both palms onto the block. This time lining the left knee with the left palm. On our next exhale, stepping the right leg forward next to our blocks. Inhaling as we come up. Finding the straight line of the body, and then exhale, come forward. Exactly. Finding a nice stretch on the other side here. Maybe this side feels different than the other one. Okay, inhale, come back. Exhale, finding our block again. And we step the right leg back. Okay, let's bring the palms down and just come back to our child's pose. Forehead down. And as we're in child's pose, let's remind ourselves also that if we need to take a break during the practice, we should listen to the body, and we can come into child's pose at any time to take a break, or any other pose that feels comfortable. Okay, then coming back into our down dog. So coming back up, tucking the toes center, lifting up. Okay. And down dog is a beautiful pose that we can do through the whole pregnancy. And as I mentioned a little bit last class, it's kind of allowing the belly to hang down and giving our pelvic floor a little bit of a break. But it can also be, if you have, for example, acid reflux, this is maybe not the best pose, so you have to also listen to that. Okay, so on our next exhale, bringing both knees down. And we're back on the four-legged position. Okay, let's bring palms back to the block. We're going to come to another round, adding our twist. So right knee in line with the right palm. On our next exhale, hugging the baby in, stepping the left leg forward. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming forward. Okay. Now we're going to bring the left forearm onto the left thigh. Inhale the right arm up. We make sure the hips stay straight, facing forward. And then we twist in the upper body. Yes, nice opening here, the right shoulder. Okay. And then inhale, come back. So inhale, come back. Exhale, finding our way down. And again, bring the left leg back. Finding our child's pose for 2 breaths. And then coming up to our down dog. And this time we're gonna take 3 deep breaths in down dog. And you're allowed to bend the knees here as much as you need. And our third exhale, both knees coming down. Beautiful. Okay, let's take the other side. Palms up onto the block. Line the left knee with the left palm, and on the exhale, hug the baby in, stepping the right leg forward. And we move up. Inhale, find the straight line. Exhale, coming forward. Okay, right forearm on the thigh. Inhale, lengthen up, keeping the hips as they are, but twisting in the upper body. Opening here the left shoulder. Okay, coming back. So inhale, come up. Exhale, palms on the block. This time we're gonna step forward. Prepare for a forward fold. So I'd like to adjust the block like this. See what you need. And then we're gonna lift up the back leg. And on the exhale, hug everything as we step forward. Here we're gonna lengthen forward. See if we can make the spine straight. Exhale, we can bend the knees as much as you like, but coming into forward fold. And then slowly coming back up. Palms on the thighs, and maybe the arms coming to the side for extra balance here. Exhale down. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a water pause. And as we come up and down in forward fold, I usually tell you to bring the arms to the side, because we're maybe used to it in regular yoga practices to either come straight up here or something like this, but this puts extra strain on the belly and the core. So if we put the arms to the side, it's a little bit easier on the body. Okay. So I'm gonna talk a little bit now. So just get comfortable. You can sit on a block, or even it can also be good to grab the bolsters if you have the bolsters. Sit like this. So whatever feels good. And I just want to go through as I came discussed a little bit in our first class that I follow what we call the dolphin method, which is a method that Jennifer Moore, my teacher, created. This is just an easy way to kind of assess poses and know if we're allowed to do a pose or not. And it's just, I feel like it's always good to go through this so you understand where you need to be careful. And also for you, if you're doing yoga or doing any other exercise on your own, you can kind of have this in the back of your head if you're not sure if it's safe. And these are 6 different points, 6 different categories basically. And I'm going to go through 3 of them today, but I'm going to read all 6 of them now so you just kind of get the overview. And the first one is about creating space. The second one is about the abdominal muscles. Then we have a point about relaxing. I'll explain all of this, what it means later. The 4th point is belly compression. 5th one is stability. And then the last one is individual assessment. And what does all of this mean? Let's see. So I like to start with the first one, the creating space. And you might already have noticed that I come into this, for example, in the side stretches. So I'm going to come into here as we're doing the side stretches. So the thing is, we say creating space because we usually want to think about extending and making more space for both us and the baby. And this has, you can look at it from a different sides. But for example, when we're breathing, we're creating space. Because the space is always getting less and less actually, like there's less and less space for us to breathe. So if we focus on inner exercises to create space, we're kind of helping us to keep this what we say, the capacity of breathing and things like this. And for example, if we're in side stretch, to instead of thinking about stretching too much and going too far, think about this, how can I create space in this pose? And that's, for example, by kind of lengthening here, opening up the body and creating space. So that's one of the things. Also for our cats and cows, for example. And let's actually come into cats and cows, all of us, just to get the feeling while I can explain it. Here we're also creating space, and you can think about it in both of the poses. So when we're rounding and coming into the cat pose, we're creating space and stretching out here in the back. And then when we drop down, we're opening the chest, creating space in the chest. And there's also space in a way that we're allowing, for example, if we're sitting a lot during the day, then the belly is always kind of compressed down here. So when we're here, we allow the belly to hang down, and there's more space for the baby to move, for example. There's just more, not as much compression. And let's just stretch out a little bit here as we're in the pose. So let's inhale as we look forward. Exhale, rounding. And maybe focusing on this feeling of creating space. So when we look forward, think about creating space in the chest. And as we exhale, we're rounding, creating space in the back. A few more here on your own, with your own breath. We also, what we're doing here, we're lengthening ligaments around the pelvis, the pelvic ligaments. So allowing for space to lengthen. And let's come back to the middle, stretch the right leg back. Just give a little squeeze here on the calf as we're in the pose. And we turn the leg, let's change it. Left leg comes back, we stretch that out as well. Okay, beautiful. And we can come back to our seat. So this is creating space. And the next point is about the abdominal muscle. And you probably heard about diastasis recti. The diastasis recti is the separation of the abdominal muscles. And this is very common and it's absolutely normal that this happens during pregnancy. Of course, there is pressure here on the belly, so automatically it kind of gives, the muscles can start separating. But what we don't want to do is do anything that kind of encourages this separation. So that's very important. It's something that we have to keep in mind during our practice. So one of the things we can do to protect this or kind of lessen the effect of this happening is with our Ujjayi breathing, and by doing this hugging of baby as we move through the poses. Also, we should be careful, for example, in our four-legged pose, that yes, we're allowing the belly to drop down, but let's not come into our full pose here that we might do like in a normal class, because then we're kind of starting to press onto the belly, and you probably feel there's a little more stretch. So that's why I usually just cue it by saying, looking forward and focusing on opening the chest instead of the belly coming so much down. Okay. Also, another thing that stretches the front is, of course, when we're bending in the back. So any back bends that can have the effect here, we are avoiding all of these. For example, I would not ask you to come into a back bend like this. There's a lot of stretching here in the front. Or coming into up dog or anything like this. We can still do back bends, but those back bends are focused on the upper body, on the thoracic, the middle back, and less here on the lumbar back, the lower back. And the same with the twists. That's how, and it's very good and important actually to stretch the chest, because the breasts become heavier and we kind of, it's easy to become kind of like this. So it's very good to do the upper back bends. Yes, and the third point I'm going to talk about today is the relaxin. I mentioned a little bit last time, relaxin. So relaxin is this hormone that there's an increase in this hormone called relaxin during pregnancy. And actually interesting, it's very interesting that it's also happens during when we have our periods. So it's kind of the same effect, or something we should keep in mind. But what it does, it's a very good hormone because it loosens up things and helps us open up for the for all the changes and also during the birth. But what it also does is it works on basically all our joints. So everything becomes looser. And what does this mean? We become more flexible, basically. But flexible, yes, but that doesn't mean we should like go fully into this flexibility, because it's easy, as I mentioned last time, it's easy to come into like overstretching it. And then if we go there, it can be hard to fix and go back. So just keeping that in mind, so we know not to go too far, and we should basically never be going fully into our 100% at this stage. Just staying around the 80%. There's also, what also happens is there's less stability, of course. Everything is looser, so there's less stability. That's why it's also important to work the muscles around the hips and in these areas. That's good to keep in mind also when we're coming in and out into poses, to always be mindful and using this Ujjayi breathing, because it can be easy just to kind of drop into our lunge here or something. So being mindful, just coming in easily in and out of the poses. So during this time, during the pregnancy, maybe rather than focusing on stretches and so much flexibility, to focus on strengthening and the support that we need during the time. And yeah, also a good thing to remember is that relaxin, this hormone, it's being released as long as you're breastfeeding. So you're still, if you're still breastfeeding in a year after the pregnancy, you still have this relaxin or increased relaxin in your body. And if you stop breastfeeding, it's or if you don't breastfeed, it's at least up until 5 months postpartum that you still have it in your body. So also being careful about that afterwards. So yes, I think that's all I wanted to mention about this, and then I'll take the 3 points, the 3 last points next class. So just things to be careful about and know. I, of course, how the flow I use takes all of this into consideration, but just about this being mindful and knowing what's going on in our bodies, it makes us more aware. Okay. I think I want to just from here come into some stretches and a few poses. Let's move a little bit more. Let's come up to standing. I want to take you into goddess pose. And goddess pose is a beautiful pose also to do during pregnancy, because it's so, you're opening up your heart space, but you're also like feeling your strength in the pose. So it's I feel like it's a very motherly pose, like to show us our strength. Okay. It's been good to separate the legs a little bit. And I'm going to give you options of, let's actually do one thing. So we're going to come down into the pose, and we're going to either come into equal arms, if that's available, or we can just come into here, hugging the shoulders. So let's come down, bending down, and either coming into our equal arms, or just holding here on the shoulders. And it's okay to move a little bit back and forth, maybe checking in with your breath. You can close your eyes. And remember, feel your strength in this pose. strength and openness. Becoming a little bit deeper if it's available. Sinking down. Checking in with your breath, your Ujjayi breathing. And let's come up. Beautiful, and we can release. Okay, and we're going to come into it again. This time we're going to move through our flow here that we did at the beginning of the class. So you also get a little bit of a feeling to do this with the movement. Okay, so on our next inhale, we're going to come down. On our exhale, rounding the spine. On the inhale, lifting up, creating space. Exhale, open the chest. Inhale, maybe coming a little bit deeper. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, let's do one more here. Inhale, sinking a little bit deeper. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, we come up. Let's close our eyes here. Just allow us to feel the release. It's so important to feel the effect of the release as we let go. Beautiful. Okay, let's come into a few hip circles here just to release the tension after the pose. So coming into big circles, moving these hips. And going the other way. Okay, nice. And let's bring our palms here onto the thighs or above the knees, and we're going to twist a little bit here. So let's bring our left shoulder down. We're trying to keep the arms straight here, and then the other side. And again, changing. Kind of press a little bit onto the knee, yes. And the other one. And letting go and coming up. Okay, shake it out. Okay, we're going to come down to our mat now. Coming back down. I do a little series here of exercises. Let's come to our foreleg again. We did this last class as well, so we're going to step our left leg here to the side. And start coming into a few circles or moving back and forth. Okay. And bringing the leg back. Stepping to the other side. Same here. Just moving around, releasing. Okay, and returning the leg. Beautiful. I actually see what we have more time than I thought, so I changed my mind a little bit before continuing the floor stretches. Let's come back up. I feel like we can warm up a little bit more, using the legs a little bit more. And let's take a block just to have ready here. 1 or 2 blocks. And I want to come here into, so we're going to be coming into a little bit of warming up the legs. Okay, so let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, we come down, and we can bend the knees on the way, bending our block. And we're going to step our right leg back. Okay, beautiful. And then coming up to our warrior one here. We can bring the back heel down, just make sure the stand is good. And we have a little ankle here on the front leg. So the ankle is knee is above the ankle. Okay, finding a strong, nice pose. And maybe you're breathing a little bit into the chest and opening up here. Okay, we're going to interlace the fingers behind us. Open the chest and come a little bit forward here. Not too far, we're keeping the gaze straight forward. Maybe finding this straight line here in the body. Strong legs, strong pose. And thinking about what feels good in this pose. So maybe the opening of the chest, or maybe it feels good just to feel your strength. And let's come back up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, we're going to find our block here. We're going to lift up the heel and then coming back up. Beautiful. Here we're going to come into a little flow. So make sure the hips are squared, facing forward. And on the next exhale, we're going to come into cactus arm and bending the back knee. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale up, beautiful. Let's do two more here. And last one. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to come back down, finding a block. Right knee comes down. Let's now move our block here to the right side. And we're just going to open here a little bit. So remember not to go 100%, but still finding this nice stretch and opening. Yes, exactly. Okay, now bring the block back. Now we're going to step the left leg back to change sides. Okay. Now bringing on our exhale, hugging the baby, and we're going to bring the right leg forward. And then lifting up the knee. Back heel can come down. And finding our way up to warrior one. Hips squared, facing forward. Exactly, knee is bent here. Just finding a strong, nice pose, making sure you feel good in the hips. You can always shorten the stand if you need to. Think about opening here, opening the chest. Strong pose, lengthening up. Deep breaths. Remember Ujjayi breathing. And then on the exhale, let's interlace the fingers behind us, open the chest, and maybe moving a little bit forward here. We're still keeping our gaze straight forward, strong legs. Beautiful. And let's take two more breaths. Inhale, come back up. Exactly. Okay, find our block. Lift up the back heel. And come back up. And again, make sure you feel stability. Maybe you need to shorten the stand. Okay, but we're keeping the heel up, yes. Remember to keep the hips squared. On our next exhale, come into cactus arms, bending the back knee. Inhale up, exhale down, exactly. Okay, 3 more. Not only working the legs, but everything here around the hips, the core. Beautiful. And coming back down, bending our block, back knee comes down. And we move the block here to our left side to open up here to the other side. Nice stretch. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Block coming back down. And we lift or move the right leg back. Palms on the mat. Let's just find our child's pose here. Okay. And we're going to come up to four-legged. See if you need, maybe you need a sip of water before continuing. I want to show you one more pose here. We're kind of preparing a little bit to add on to our flow of vinyasa. And I want to show you chaturangas. As I said earlier, we were talking about the belly. We're not really in our regular sun salutations. We would be doing chaturanga, something like this, lifting up. It's just not really available. So we have a prenatal chaturangas, and we have 2 versions. So I'd like to show you those. Yeah, I'll just demonstrate first, and then you can check them out with me. So let's see. So the first one, we can actually come straight into our down dog, kind of like we do in our regular sun salutations. So on the first one, we bring on the inhale, we come here back with the hips, and then on the exhale, we bend the elbows, come through, so it's kind of like a circle, and move straight up into our down dog. Okay, do you want to try it with me? Just so you get a little bit familiar with it. So on our inhale, we move the hips back, exhale, bend the elbows, coming through, rolling up into our down dog. Yes, exactly. And both knees coming down. Okay, let's do it one more time. Inhale, coming back, exhale, bending the elbows, we come through, and lift up into our down dog. Beautiful. Exhale, knees coming down. Okay, and you can shake it out here a little bit. I'm gonna demonstrate the other version for you. Okay, so this one is more simple, or it looks more simple, but it's kind of more challenging. So for this one, I want to inhale and come forward. On the exhale, bend the elbows, and then lifting back up. So it's a little bit like what do you call this in English? Crunches. Yeah. And here the important thing is we kind of course, want to keep the elbows more or less here above the wrists. And we don't want to go deeper than the elbows. We want to keep the shoulders above the elbows. This is already like very challenging just to have to hold this for a little bit. Okay, so let's do these together. So on the inhale, we move forward. On the exhale, bending the elbows. Can you feel it? Yes. Lift it back up. Beautiful. Okay, let's do it one more time. On the inhale, coming forward, elbows are pointing back, just staying close to the body. And lifting up, exactly. Nice. Okay, you can shake it out. Okay. Now moving into our floor stretches. So let's actually come again into our side lunges now that we're a little bit more warmed up. You can also feel the difference a little bit now. We did a little bit of leg work. So now maybe we're a little looser and warmed up here. Yes. And I think we never do enough of this pose. This is one of very few poses that helps us open up the middle part of the pelvis. Okay. And let's change legs to the other side. And returning the leg. Okay, we're gonna come now onto our backs. Let's actually lie on our side. I'm gonna start on this side. It doesn't really matter which side you start on. But we're gonna stretch out the legs a little bit. You can rest your head on the upper arm. And we're gonna bend the legs slightly. And then we're gonna open up here the leg. We're gonna grab either the shin or the back of the thigh. And we're gonna press here a little bit against the belly, the side of the belly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Pressing a little bit down. Constipation is also a common problem during pregnancy. And this is really good just to give a little squeeze here on the belly, and it can help loosen up the things and getting a little more blood running in that area. You can stay here for a few more breaths or lengthening out the leg if you want a little bit deeper stretch here in the inner thigh, and grab the thigh here. Okay, and releasing. And we're gonna grab now our foot here from behind. Here we want to make sure the leg is parallel to the mat, the ground, not lifting up here. The leg is parallel to the floor. And we kick a little bit into the palm or press the heel against the buttocks. Whatever feels like you get a nicer stretch here. Oops. So a few deep breaths here. And slowly release, let go. From here, we're gonna move onto our backs. We're gonna come through our backs to the other side, and maybe taking happy baby here in between. So just rolling, you can grab the back of your thighs or the calves, or if you can reach for your soles of the feet. So the knees are down here. And just rolling a few times here on the back. Yes. And we move to the other side. And I'm gonna just turn around so I can see you. And we're gonna do the same here. So keeping the knees bent and then open up the legs. And we're gonna grab here, either the back of the thigh or the shin, and press a little bit against the belly here, side of the belly. Here we just allow the breath to slow down. We can stay for a few more breaths here, or if you feel like you want to stretch out, but it can be good to not point the toes, but just keep it flexed, the foot. So either staying there or keeping it back. And releasing. Okay, now grabbing the foot from behind us. And just making sure the leg is parallel to the ground. Not lifting up here. Kicking a little bit into the palm or pressing the heel to the buttocks. Couple of deep breaths here. Beautiful. And slowly letting go. And we use the support of the palm just to come back up. And I want to finish with the pigeon pose. So I'm going to show you how we can do pigeon pose. Let's find our bolster. Bring it here in front of us. And we want to make a nice roll here from the blankets. Maybe want it quite thick. So using 2 blankets here. Okay, and we have enough space here between, because we're going to be putting the leg in between. And then we're going to come with our knees onto the blanket or the towel or whatever we're using, palms on the bolster. And if we start with our left leg, we're going to bring our left leg here in between in the space. Exactly, yes. And then we walk the other leg back. So the roll should be here supporting you. Yes, maybe next time we can make the roll even bigger. So I'll bring you extra blankets. And then we just come down, find a comfortable pose. Okay. This is usually a really good stretch when we're pregnant. So see if you can just relax here on the bolster. Using your breaths, just noticing what comes up and breathing into it. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And we're going to slowly come back up. And to come up, we place our palms back on the bolster. And we walk our back knee here up to the towel. When we have our knee here, we have space to move the other leg back. Exactly. And now changing sides. So we bring the right leg in front of us. Do the same thing here. And then walk the other leg back. Make sure the towel here is in place, support us. Okay, also let me know if something feels awkward or doesn't feel good. It's okay. And then coming back down. Beautiful. Deep breaths. Slowing down here, finishing the practice. Taking a few more breaths. And slowly coming back up. Beautiful. Palms on the bolster. And we can lift the back knee up to the towel. And then we have space to release. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay. Then we're going to just prepare for our final pose, Savasana. So let's find our blocks. And we bring the bolster on top. Was everyone who both felt comfortable in this pose? It was okay last time? Everyone good? Okay, we're just gonna stick to that now. And we find our blankets here again. And remember, we want to have the roll kind of long and nice for this one. Okay. And when we're ready, maybe coming into our butterfly pose. Bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe moving the legs a little bit up and down. Beautiful. And then we can come into our Savasana. So bringing the block, the towel, top of the feet, and we wrap it here under us. So we have support for the thighs, exactly. And now we can lie down, just resting the arms to the sides, palms facing up. And if you need extra pillow, something for the head, raise your hand and I'll bring it. Otherwise, maybe taking a couple of deep breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's our final pose, time to relax and just let go. Gonna lower the lights a little bit. So, just allowing yourself to become heavier, allowing the body to let go, the muscles to take a rest. The head easily resting on the bolster, the pillow. Shoulders relaxed and arms just easily resting down on the mat. Breaths are calm. And if we need something to think about, just coming into our breath, following our breaths in and out. One of the most important poses of them all, remembering to rest and relax. Allowing us to take in the practice and what we've been doing through the practice, allowing the body to take it all in and integrate. And from here, let's slowly come back. So just slowly bringing awareness back into our breath. Maybe even exhaling a few times through the mouth. Bringing the awareness back into our body. We can start moving fingers and toes. Maybe moving the head here to one side and the other. And when you're ready, maybe see if you want to start stretching the arms up or above your head. You can roll the wrists a few times. When you're ready to bring the legs back, use the support of your palms of your arms to bring the feet or the legs and knees back. And we're gonna roll to our right side with our knees. Coming here to our elbows or forearm. Slowly making our way up to seated, using the support of our palms. Exactly. And finding our cross-legged, maybe keeping the eyes closed a little bit longer if it feels okay. Let's place one palm on the chest of the heart, the other one on the baby, on the belly. Just taking a few deep breaths here together. Really filling the lungs. And then maybe bringing the palms together in front of the chest. Thank you all for coming today. Namaste. Okay. How are you feeling? Good. Okay. So thank you today, and next class we'll continue going through the rest of the assessments, and slowly we keep on building onto the flow. Some more movement. Okay.